And we are live. One like. Holy cow. One like, no person. Gotta love YouTube. Gotta love YouTube. Hope everyone is doing all right. What's up, Mega? Hello, Colleen. How are you? M. Kirby. How are you? Damian Bloodstone. Nexus. What's up, Jay Cortez? How are you, buddy? Can you all hear me all right? Timothy, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Hey, Jesse, good. How are you tonight? Troy, Steve. Awesome. Thank you, Em. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate you. What's up, Snowman Dave? Rockin' steady. What's going on? How do you do? So tonight's live stream is dedicated to another subscriber and friend who tragically lost their life last night. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is. Maybe many of you guys do. But he's been with this channel for a while, and I just wanted to kind of dedicate it to him. He was in a motorcycle accident last night, and his name was Tom Cardis. So if you know him, you've chatted with him in the chat, tonight's live stream is dedicated to him. Just a tragedy. So still no power. Damn. You guys have been, anybody that's been affected by the hurricane, you guys are in my prayers. Hey, Molly Ward, how are you? Gringo, what's going on, buddy? Siggy, how are you? I literally am getting the hairy eyeball from Tigger. Tigger is laying in the door right now because I got him all riled up. His eyes are this big. I got him riled up, and he's just staring at me like he wants to fuck me up. Puma Pete, how are you? Claire. Beretta Vandy is not here. RH, how are you? Diane, how are you? So, what's wrong with you, dude? Leave me alone. He's like, I think he wants to attack me. I got treats. You want to say hi to everybody? What's up, 3Cat Mom? How are you? Got lucky in Ocala. You know, it's crazy that those two hurricanes really affected some places, and then like miles away didn't. That's just, I don't even know. I don't even know how to read into that. You know what I mean? Hey, Sonia, how are you? Come here, buddy. Look what Daddy's got, huh? He's not coming. He is literally hyper. He is hyped up. Not tonight, Nexus, because I only have 2. So I'll probably do it in like a half an hour, 45 minutes. I gotta wait for people to come in. What's up, Gen X? How are you? Delirium, you know, for some reason, I didn't. My daughter told me that they were going on, and I didn't have a chance to go outside and look. What's up, James Moses? How are you tonight? Sharon Williams, how are you? There was I guess there was 136 tornado warnings. Glenn, how are you? Glenn, since you've been asking about the tattoo, I got it. I got the new tattoo. There it is. What's up, Poppy? Poppy from Sweden. How are you? Oh, yeah, yeah. They manipulate, the government definitely manipulates the weather. They did it in Tazewell, Virginia, a couple years ago. So I know for a fact that they do. Dude, stop staring at me. You're freaking me out. He's literally, yo, Fuji. Any cat owner. What's up, Girth? Girth Brooks. Any cat owner that has a cat that's super hyper knows this look. He is literally lying like at the corner of the door. So the corner is here, right? His head is right here, and he's like this. Dude, if he was a dog, I'd be afraid he was going to mount my leg or something. What's up, Whitmore? How are you tonight? Captain Ron, how are you, buddy? Pine Knot. So I'm going to show you the next tat I'm getting. It's going to be right here. Another cover up to cover up this garbage that I got when I was a kid. I won't even show you because I'm so embarrassed. Andy Davis, what's going on? So we're going to get that on the arm probably in 2 weeks. Hopefully. Where the fuck is Wilburn anyway? Wilburn! No, Tigger does not need catnip. You give a 40-pound cat catnip and he's on you. Like, hey, Margie, how are you up there? Now he's itching his head like fucking. What's up, Prayerful Mechanic? How are you tonight? He's gone now. Thank God. I feel safe now. He's gone. Oh, now he's fucking up his. So, Jesus Christ. The fucking jalopy was getting it. Hey, Paula, how are you? Spicy Ghost 13, how are you tonight? Andy Davis, it's always good to see you, buddy. I'm glad that you're here with us. Randy Man. Sonny the Wandering Gypsy. I always love that name. Every time I see your name pop in, I laugh because it's just such a good name. What's up, Adam Condon? So I got a stack of great encounters, and I made sure that I alternated a lot of different things. I also have a great lot lizard experience, and I made sure I'm going to do a little different. I got one lot lizard experience and at the truck stop, but I have a highway rest stop glory hole experience to share with you. So we're going to have a good time tonight. What's up? What's up, Mike Greg? How are you? Kakalina, how are you tonight? Mr. James Kaufman is in the house with us. Shari Strong. How are you, Shari? Dab pat. Wait. Dab. Pab. Dab. God damn it. Dab Pap 70. How are you? Randy Man, happy birthday. 69? Are you lying? Are you lying? Were you 69 last year and you're 70 this year and you just want to just like, because that's the magic number, Randy Man. Randy Man's 69 tonight. He's not at a strip joint. He's hanging out with us. So happy birthday to Randy Man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Randy Man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, 69. Dude, you should be at a strip club right now. It's your 69th birthday. That's a mighty special one. I don't think anniversaries count, Puma Pete. Anniversaries don't count. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations. 33 years is amazing. What's up, Andy or Alan Howell? How are you? Joel, how are you tonight, buddy? Fords do suck. Love that name too. Hey, Roberta, how are you? Caden, what's going on, buddy? D.L. Hemingway, how are you, buddy? Always good seeing you. Girth Brooks, 39, looking 69. I felt like I was fucking 70 yesterday. I go over to my dad's, right? He's got a branch that he wants me to cut. It's about like, it's a scrub pine, and it's in the front yard. It's by the mailbox. And so, like, 20 feet up, there was this just annoying, ugly looking branch that it was like that big around, probably like 20 feet long. And I don't know why he never cut it down, but I was only supposed to go and cut that down. So I get it down, I get it cut up, throw it in some wheelbarrows, bring it across the street to the woods. And the next thing I know, it's 3 hours later. I've cut down 3 trees in my dad's backyard, and I'm like cutting them into pieces, carrying them across the street in a wheelbarrow. It was ridiculous. What's up, two-way? What's up, Moondog Rex? Yeah, my dad. So my dad's like, he's out there with these little clippers, right? He's like trying to clip them. And like, mind you, this guy he was on palliative care from November till fucking June 5th. And he still tries to do stuff, but he's yelling at these sticks that are getting caught in his shoe and shit. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think calling a stick a cunt is helping any. Like, you're yelling at a stick. Our neighbors are looking at us, and you're like screaming these vulgarities at sticks. And so I got him a chair, and I said, State worker Jim, sit right in this chair and just watch me work. What's up, Blackjack Queen? How are you? Or Black Queen Jacks? Love the love. How are you? Yeah, that's the neighbor that my dad hates. That is the neighbor my dad hates. That's the guy that when my dad was in the hospital and he said, I hope your dad does better, this, and that. And I tell my dad, and my dad goes, fuck him. I'm like for real. That's my dad. He's a wonderment of fucking life, I'm telling you. What's up, Matt? How are you? Anthony, how are you from Westchester? Anthony. I'm happy that you're here too, love. Big Shooter, how are you? I don't think Ford Sucks heard me say hello, but I did say Ford suck too. I agree. Siggy, because I talked to his son and daughter-in-law. So, and it's been a long time, and I was very good friends with him. He wasn't just like a member of the channel or anything. He was like a friend of mine. Grandma at 95 is probably... My dad's going to be a douche when he's 95. I hope that he stays that long with us, but holy shit. And he's a pervert too. All old men are perverts. Like I get embarrassed going out to stores or anything with my dad because a pretty girl will look and he'll be like this. Like we're at Lowe's one day, last week. There's a pretty fairly attractive woman down. I looked at her once just to check her out. I look at my dad and I'm talking about this stuff and my dad's like this. I'm like, dude, have you not seen a fucking girl? Like, it's a woman. Holy shit. And he does it in front of my mom. He's such an asshole. Oh, man. Let's start some encounters tonight. I got a really good one that I wanted to start the night off with, but everything kind of got discombobbled in this huge pile of encounters that I have. Hang on 1 second. We hit 90,000 subs this week. yesterday. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Language? Yeah, I speak English, Michael David. I speak English. And I swear on my show because it's my fucking show. Oh. Where the hell is it? Anyway, I guess we'll start with this one and we'll move on. I know 90,000. I couldn't believe it. When I started this channel, I never thought that I'd even get that far, you know? Just amazing, really amazing. So thank you. I appreciate all of your guys' support. All right. Dogman experience. Let me first say and foremost, I am a man of logic and explanation. I never before believed in ghosts or other cryptid beings, but something happened the other night that made me feel weird. So I live somewhere in between country and town here in Manatee County, Florida, near the, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, Mayaca River State Park. We have an abundance of wildlife, fox, coyote, raccoon, all very normal to see. Since there is a very large fox population around here and most people have chicken, everyone has a large dog, including myself. I have a 70-pound male and a 60-pound female pet. They're fearless. They know this is their property and they protect it as such, alerting me if they hear something, and if they do, I open the door and they run out and chase whatever it is. The other night I woke up randomly to it was disturbingly quiet, like not a single cricket, and my dogs were not on my bed as usual. All of a sudden, a howl like I had never heard went off like a siren and sent a chill down my spine. A deep yell almost, but definitely from an animal. I turned the lights on in my house to see my pitties backed up into their crate, shaking. I had never seen this look on my dog's face before, purely terrified. So I turned the lights back off, grabbed a flashlight, and looked out the back window. What I saw 200 yards off by the tree line near the back of my property was this dog thing. I vaguely saw it, but it was similar to that of a hyena, built with a large amount of fur on its neck, like a mane, almost like a lion, with skinny back legs. Its head was very wolf-like, with erect ears and a large skull. This thing was effing huge. It was so black, it was hard to make out any distinct characteristics, but its presence scared basically any living thing around. The next morning, I went to the spot where I saw the creature. There were no tracks, hair, or anything, but I know what I saw, and I never saw anything like it before. Dark Waters, thank you, brother. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you. Buddy, my cat is going crazy tonight. What are you doing? His back legs are up like this. Wonder if the ghosts are messing with him. I bet you they are. James's channel is doing amazing. Dark Waters' channel is just absolutely just. He was one of my biggest influences. One of my best friends too. Like, I love this man. Two-way, that's hilarious. I bet you. I wouldn't doubt it. We will do the basic other thing in a minute. The $20 is $20, but I want to get a couple of encounters underneath the belt. I want to find that one that I wanted to share with you guys because it was very interesting. Here, I thought I was all organized. I do have a really very long experience to share with you. This one's pretty freaky. And then we will have, for DB Mac, we will do his $20. Tijuana Border Jumper. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that love. Thank you once again. There's Janie. Hi, Janie. Truth Quest. Tracy, how are you? George Coker. Prince. I like Prince. Actually, I love Prince. Prince is one of the best guitar players ever. He was. Notice I used was. It was a sad day in music history when Prince passed away. What's up, Orphan Andy? How are you, buddy? Dude, speaking of Prince, has anybody ever heard that? I think it was the Jeff Beck tribute where he played As My Guitar Gently Weeps. Oh my God. Just amazing. Firehorse, how are you, dear? Death Note, what's going on? All right. Back around 2005, I was leaving a friend's house and heading home. He lived near Lake Ariel in Wayne County, PA. I was a good 15 miles away, so I decided to take the back roads to save some time and avoid the cops. As I crested this mountain road, I see a van off to the side. Doors open, lights on. It's well after midnight, and no one was on the road. I slowed my car down. It was an 89 VW ragtop down to first gear, looking for a person or persons that may be hurt. Not a soul is around, and the woods are quiet. The van off the road, not running, but all the lights are on and the driver's side door is open. I remember thinking that I didn't have cell service until the top of the mountain and I needed to call the police. So I proceeded to go towards where I knew I'd get cell service, maybe going 30 miles an hour tops. I knew the situation was bizarre, but it then got worse. No more than 3 or so miles away, the brush thinned out on the roadside, so you'd have a better view of what was in the woods, and I saw movement. So I let off the gas thinking that I didn't want to hit a deer. As I let off of this gas, the man, soaking in fresh blood, comes running out of the tree line and into the road. He was so covered in gore, I couldn't tell if it was a man at first. He stumbled out in front of the car and waved me down. I was in my rag top with the top down, and he's yelling and grabbing my door. I dropped it into first gear and took off. Another mile or so, I had cell service and called the police. Dude was obviously hurt. And him grabbing my door scared the living shit out of me. There was wide open space on that mountain where I agreed to wait for the police. They were there in under 10 minutes. While I waited, I put the top up, then locked the doors. An officer took my statement and he looked over my car with a flashlight. The guy from the woods left a bloody smear on my door. Another officer found the van, but he could not locate the guy who came out of the woods. The cops let me go home, and they said they would call me if they needed anything further. Within a few days, I got a call saying the van was located, and they asked if I could describe the guy. They said they never found him that night, and as far as I know, they never did. Apparently, the van was stolen, and the police surmised this guy banged himself up, took off in a panic, as far as I know. They never did track him down. To this day, I keep a lookout for the bloody man running in the woods. This experience has stuck with me and is 100% true. Not a cryptid, but freaking scary. Can you imagine you're just driving in your little V-dub, me, and this bloody dude comes out of the woods? No, thank you. Got to wet my whistle first. Hang on. Get a little tea. Num, 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 num. 20 bucks is 20 bucks. That was pretty good. I'm getting damn good with this. And I'm going to where Tom Mezek disappeared tomorrow. Yes, the police officer is out there, Black Queen Jacks. I don't know if I can play Careless Whispers. I'm going to try to play Easy next song. Let me ask you guys, does anybody into automatic knives like, Bokers and Microtechs? Tijuana, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I have a Boker, and I've had this Boker knife for, I don't know, a year now. And for some reason, my Microtech, I have a Microtech, and every time I flick the switch, it comes out and stays out. And I can flick it back as many times. But with the Boker, see what I mean? I have no idea why it does that. And it only does it periodically. Has anybody ever had an issue with that? Aramic, how are you, buddy? Illegal in Canada. That's the only Boker I have, but no, it's not. I sprayed some air in it with some WD-40 because that's what they told me to do. But I'm not sure. $90 American made. A lot more than $90 for that Boker. Nope, not a gravity knife. Just a regular. And that's why I'm upset, because it was a lot more than 90. Just a switch out the front. But it works, and then it'll just, I don't know. Here, let me see. Now it's not going to do that. In 10 minutes, I'll show you again. Erica, how are you? Claire, how are you? Graphite. That's a good idea. Thank you, Nicole Clark. I appreciate that. That would suck, RH, if it went off in my pocket. That would really suck. Get me right in the little ding dong. Aramic, this one goes out to you, my friend. Hey, Tyler Marshall. How are you, dearie? Charlotte Knight, how are you? Listening because the eyes are worn out. I hear you. Any Mothman experience, always think of Aramic. Anytime you hear one, think of Aramic, because eventually he will believe in the Mothman. He believes in Dogman. He believes in Bigfoot. Does not believe in freaking Mothman. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. This sighting occurred in the summer or early fall of 2015 in Placer County, California, in the city of Lincoln, at the Auburn Ravine Creek directly behind McBean Park. Myself and two other guys I had worked with had been at the creek to test our new RE boats. As the sun was setting, one of the boats got stuck on the opposite side of the creek, so I volunteered to try and retrieve it. I crossed the fallen log and up the hill and began walking to an area where the boat was stuck. As I entered the oak tree canopy, I caught a glimpse of glowing red slanted diamond-shaped eyes from the branches overhead. Perched in a somewhat circle, each one facing the other, were three large human-like creatures with black bat-like wings and these fierce red eyes, making no noise at all. I witnessed them open their wings and fly out from underneath the canopy effortlessly, in sync with one another. They had to have been at least the size of an adult man, with the wingspan of at least the same size, but it seemed greater. I was too afraid to continue and ran back to the guys and asked them if they saw what I did. Neither of them had been paying attention to the other side of the creek. They said, as they were playing with their remaining boat still, of course, they laughed at me and tried to come up with a reasonable explanation to ease my mind. But no bird exists that could do what I saw them do in silent flight with such great size. I do not live far from there, but have not been back since. I do think about it often and wonder if anyone else has witnessed anything like that in the area. What's up, Five Rings? How are you, buddy? Truth in Christ, how are you, dear? Were you at Whitehall? No, I was not this year. I didn't go this year. Mike Steaton. Mike Steaton. No, I did not go this year. I thought about it, but I don't know. Last year was kind of, I don't know. I don't like, it was just, it, to me, if it's a Bigfoot festival, it should have less crafts and less people thinking they're experts and just having like a really good time. Like, oh yeah, just like a really good conversation, like the people that wrote the books, like Paul Bartholomew and Robert Bartholomew and those folks, just like openly discuss things with people, don't get up on the stage and preach and act like you're some expert because you wrote a book. Like that's just, that kind of just, I don't know. That disheartens me about that. What's up, Lobo family? How are you? Bobby, how are you? Yes, the Ancient Aliens guy is like that quite a bit. Quite a bit. Hi and bye, Cadence Zero. The Egyptian dude that was debunked. Jeff, can I get a shout out, my son Sebastian and Malachi? Sebastian and Malachi, they earned tonight. The kids were good. I'm glad that you were good, and I'm glad that you're hanging out with us tonight, Sebastian and Malachi. Plus, you guys got some badass names. Those are some good names. I wish my name was like one of those. I'm Jeff. Hate my name, Jeff. My daughters pick on me about it all the time. I had this. Where the frick is it? Ooh. Here's one. This is a good one. I'm Malachi. What's up, Stacy? How are you? There was an old rap song from when I was younger. I think it was like, I can't remember who it was, but like the rapper's name was Malachi the Nutcracker. That's the only line I remember in that rap song. I don't even remember who it was. They were from New York City, though. It was right around the time when Outkast first came out with their actually decent album back in the day before they were dumb. Nothing wrong with the name Jeff. What's up, Nicola? How are you, buddy? Oh, I found Nicola. Send me an email. I have something that I want to share with you. I'll have to email it to you. Mohawk Valley around Canajoharie. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt that, Mike. I would not doubt that at all. Mohawk Valley, Canajoharie region. I've had friends that have seen some weird stuff down in by West Sand Lake and Chatham area. Not Dogman, but what they thought was a Bigfoot, especially in West Sand Lake. This one is creepy. This one is very creepy. And if there's still, well, I don't know. It was 1987. I was at a restaurant in Trinidad, Colorado. I was 16, family trip from Washington State, driving to Texas. Crammed in the car are my grandparents, sister, my mom, and myself. It was not a fun ride, trust me. We stopped at Wendy's for lunch. It was packed. Luckily, there was not enough room for the five of us all to sit together. And at 16, I was in that typical age set, get me away from these old people, and grabbed my sister and headed for the only empty table left. My mom ordered for all of us. This was way before cell phones, so two bored kids can't help but people watch. And what we saw and heard still freaks me out to this day. Our table was right next to, approximately 3 feet from, two adults and one child. He looked to be 9 or 10 years old. I noticed right away something was off with these people. My sister noticed as well. She kicked me under the table and raised her eyebrows in their direction. My eyes had already been on them. Sitting down, I began to closely observe them. Two adults, the woman had long brown hair, dressed rather plainly, and had knee-length, light tan trench coat on, even though it was 85 degrees out in August. She looked as though she was maybe in her mid-40s, early 50s. The man looked similarly plain with short brown hair, no lower facial hair. He had on glasses that were way too big for his face. The kid appeared weirdly dressed, like clothes that were not typical for the 80s, but right out of a different era. Short, light brown hair, all three of them looked like they had never seen the sunshine in their entire life. All of them had large eyes. I was close enough to see they all had brown eyes. Their eyes were strangely mesmerizing, but only from my vantage point of not direct eye contact. I was staring, but they never once looked at me or my sister directly. They reminded me of what someone might look like after living in the darkness for years, no color in their face and pale looking lips. I remember thinking at the time, who are these pasty looking people? In the middle of the table sat 7 or 8 hamburgers in their wrappers, 5 large fries, and no drinks. And they were not eating. Not one fry, not one bite. And how are they going to eat all of that food without drinking? I was convinced they were clearly vampires. I mean, right? I settled into that conclusion. They were bloodsuckers, and that's why they didn't have drinks. At 16, that's the best I could deduce. My mom, by this time, had our food in hand and dropped it off at our table. I hadn't even noticed her until she was walking away. I took my drink, staring right at the people while sipping. They were so out of place. Were they foreigners? Had they never eaten at a fast food joint before? No, they were clearly vampires who don't mind being in the light, so they must be mutant vampires. It was a good 10 minutes before the woman said out loud, "Do as they do, unwrap the items and put them in your mouth. Blend in." The words "blend in" then changed my opinion to what these must be. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. I quickly tried to rationalize their strange behavior. They were from a foreign country with no fast food joints. As I was increasingly feeling very uncomfortable with where I was sitting and what I was seeing and hearing, I felt myself starting to feel out of place and started to feel unwell, as if I was viewing something I shouldn't and wasn't supposed to be looking at. It was one of the strangest feelings I had ever had in my life. After the woman spoke in perfect English without any kind of accent, I might add, all three of them at the same exact time with precise matching mannerisms begun unwrapping a corner of the hamburger, then suddenly stopped mid-unwrap and acted like they heard something we did not, heads tilted in unison, and then paused for a few seconds. The woman said as clear as day, "We must go, the mothership is here. We must go now, we cannot miss it." I frantically looked around to see if anyone else was seeing and hearing this. No, everyone was too busy eating their Frosties and fries, obviously, to any of it, as if none of this was happening. But I knew my sister had heard the exact same thing as I did. She frantically tapped the table to get my attention. I mouthed the words, "Stay right here, I'm getting Mom." As I stood up, I made eye contact with my mom, who was on the other side of the partition a few rows away. I waved my arms like crazy person, signaling something was wrong. Come here. She jumped up just as the three people stood up without speaking and walked out of Wendy's. I sounded like I was having a psychotic break as I tried to explain to her. Those people, they're aliens. She said the mothership was here. Look, Mom, they all left their food on their table. It was less than 30 seconds since they went out the front door. I grabbed my mom's arm and we ran outside. All three were rounding the corner of the building, so we hustled, probably 20 feet behind them. Except when we rounded the corner, they were not there. No one was walking around, just cars driving in one direction. Turning the corner put us in the direction of oncoming traffic, so it wouldn't be them driving away. My mom was at a loss of words. She may not have heard what they said, but she saw them disappear into thin air, and could make no sense of it. So where'd they go? Who were these people? What happened? I don't know. I oddly looked toward the sky and, of course, didn't see anything but sky. For years, I thought my mom thought I was crazy. My sister didn't ever want to talk about it again. We have since spoken of it, but not until we were in our 20s. The ride in that car all the way to Texas, no one spoke a word. My mom tried to explain all of it to my grandparents as we walked toward the car to leave. Neither one of them were having any of it. I don't know who they were or what we saw, but I clearly decided they decided they were no longer hungry. And with that, the conversation ended. I've had many strange experiences in my life, but this one was somewhere close to the top. I've contemplated over the years if they were actors, did this kind of stuff happen for a reaction, but no one else reacted at all. No one else even noticed them but us. I still don't know what to make of it. It's been some 34 years later. Aliens? Aliens? I think she did, Girth. I think she did. She grabbed the burgers. No, it's not that Malachi, Nicole. It's not. It was a completely different person. I've looked. I don't know if they were vampires. I think they were aliens, but vampires do exist. There were three of them: child, mother, and father. Gravity Cheeseburger, how the fuck are you? Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I think aliens. Definitely. Jesus, that scared me. If anyone was wondering what that was my shredder. Sounds like typical dining experience at the Black Bear Diner. All kinds of vampires. We have a Black Bear Diner up here too. Holy shit, that's crazy. I don't know why I'm so full of gas tonight. So how many vampires coping with all this vexed blood? Yep, paper shredder. Morning, Des. How are you? It was back in 87, Joe Smith. Oh, Christopher Hickey. That would be a bad. Imagine being a vegan and all of a sudden you're bit by a vampire. That's no good. That is no good. You guys want to see my new tattoo again? I got to show you guys again because it's so fucking awesome. Look at this thing. Look how awesome that looks. And on this side, it's the Dogman burning head in a raven. Dogman. Bah, bah. Yes, I heard that interview with Phil Snyder's ex-wife. Kakalina, I'm a vegan. Don't get bit by a vampire. You're not going to like life after. Oh, it was my foot that did it, Claire. My foot hit my big toe touched the button on my shredder. Bradley, greetings from South Africa. I just had a subscriber from South Africa send me an encounter. I don't know. It wasn't you, though. It was someone else. They were in the South African Special Forces. What the hell was it? Special 5 or something like that, I think. MJ Richards, how are you? Didn't get my notifications. Boy, you look upset. MJ's upset. I'm sorry, George. Oh, that was a long time ago, the hyena Dogman. Yeah. Hope you can. Thank you, Alan Howell. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Outside In, welcome to the live stream, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here with us. Yeah, Alan, I do hope I find something. I plan on going on November 15th as well, the day he disappeared. But it sucks because, well, it doesn't suck, but it's hard to do because my daughter's birthday is the 15th. So my daughter and Tom Mezik's disappearance day are the same, like, so weird. MJ, thank you so much. Bobby. This is my new Jane's Addiction shirt. Can't take my Jane's Addiction shirt off. Yeah, that's weird. It is weird. Georgianne, happy birthday early. Last month, YouTube was pushing my channel. This month, they're not. It's weird. They like doing that stuff. I have one downstairs, Nicole. None of you beeswax. I have one downstairs in my downstairs studio. Maybe Outside In. Maybe. I don't know. Perry was a little slappy. He was a little slap. He tried to punch Dave Navarro. How long have we been? All right, you know what? We've been 48 minutes. This is a fictional story. Fictional story. This is the only time you will hear fiction on my channel when it comes to lot lizards or rest stop glory hole reptilians. Fictional. Here we go. This is the rest stop one. It was a dark and stormy night when a group of road trippers, aptly named the Wanderlust Warriors, found themselves in need of a break. They'd been driving for hours along Highway 66, and the vibrant energy from the endless stretches of asphalt was starting to wear thin. As they approached a lonely highway rest stop, the flickering neon sign spelled out rest area, offered not just respite for their bladders, but an unexpected adventure. The rest stop had an eerily charming vibe: old rustic wood paneling, flickering fluorescent lights, and an overpowering scent that was the mix of stale snacks and mystery. They parked, and after exchanging dubious glances, they all hurried toward the restroom in desperate need of relief. As the group split up, each person selecting their own stall, the only sound was that was that of trickling faucets and distant thunder rumbling outside. Each stall had been inexplicably designed with a small, inconspicuous hole at the bottom of the divider leading to the next stall. A questionable design choice neither of them would take much notice of until later. Man, this place gives me the creeps, muttered Tony, clenching his fists as he waited for his turn at the urinal. Why do they all make these rest stops so freaky? We're just tired, replied Maria, her voice slightly nervous. Whatever cheerfulness had accompanied their journey had dissolved like a mist in the rain. That's when it happened. From the next stall, from the next stall, a strange guttural sound echoed out, akin to a mix between gurgling and a dry sneeze. But it wasn't just the sound that caught their attention. It was accompanied by a shadow, a long, scaly hand emerging from below the stall divider, fingers curled in a provocative gesture. Oh, guys, Tony called out cautiously. The rest of the group exchanged nervous glances. I think someone's messing with us. Just ignore it. It's probably a prankster, chuckled Danny, his bravado failing as another high-pitched squeal resonated from the stall. The hand was now beckoning an invitation to approach the glory hole situated directly beside it. Oh, hell no, Maria exclaimed, her face pale. That looks like something straight out of a horror movie. With unwelcoming deliberation, Tony leaned closer to inspect. Curiosity piqued. He squinted and muttered, Dude, I think the hand is green. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the restroom as the stall door flew open, and out stepping a towering creature with sleek green scales shimmering under the flickering lights. It had glowing yellow eyes that seemed to pierce the dim air and a toothy grin that suggested mischief. Boo! It shouted, and the three friends jumped, hearts pounding like the rhythm of a heavy metal concert. What the heck are you? Danny screamed, backing against the wall. I'm Reggie, the rest stop reptilian, just here to scare travelers, the creature declared cheerfully, obvious to their terror. You guys look like you needed a laugh. A beat of silence faltered between them before Maria started to chuckle, almost against her will. You're serious? Oh, absolutely, Reggie said, leaning against the stall divider with ease. I transitioned from hiding in the trees to scaring unsuspecting humans in rest stops. Easier gig, I tell you. As they processed this absurdity, Tony, still skeptical, waved a hand in front of Reggie's face. Okay, so you're basically a bathroom monster? You could have scared the pants off of anyone. With its enormous grin widening, Reggie nodded with zest. Exactly, but only if they peek between the stalls. I mean, it's a harmless joke. Got to keep it light, right? Just then, the restroom door swung open and a weary trucker entered, his expression shifting as he saw Reggie standing in the restroom like an oversized lizard in a comedy show. What in the hell? Before he could finish the sentence, Reggie let out another enthusiastic boo. The trucker let out a scream louder than a thunder outside, darting for the door and disappearing into the rain-soaked night. The Wanderlust warriors erupted in laughter. Tension broke by absurdity of a giant scaly creature failing at its scare mission. Want to join us on a road trip? Danny offered, gesturing, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes. We could use someone who knows how to liven up a rest stop. Oh boy, a road trip? Count me in, Reggie chimed. I could guarantee some epic bathroom laughs and glory hole fun. With an uproarious laughter filling the rest stop, the group decided to give the reptilian a chance, transforming their unforgettable pit stop into an adventure none of them would forget. As they piled back into the vehicle, the storm subsided. Reggie waved from the restroom, plotting ways to scare future travelers. After all, everyone could use a good story from the highway. And the next time they took off on a road trip, Every glory hole became a conversation starter, reminding them of the reptilian prankster who turned a simple restroom break into a legendary tale of laughter and absurdity. That was good. I had to keep it a little clean. Turning 50 on October 15th. 50's good. 50's good. Well, I did include the glory hole, Andy, in the hand provocatively. Nothing could top the rest stop one where the lot lizard penetrated the truck driver with her tail, though. That was just priceless. At least the soap was not. Kathy Hayes, happy birthday late. Tainted taint. Oh, where? There was one. This one's freaky. This is one of them that I wanted to share. Arabic, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate the love. You know I do. And everybody does too. All right, this one's definitely strange. And I really enjoyed this one. December 21st, 2021, approximately 11:30 p.m. First off, I'm from Portland, Oregon. Tonight was relatively clear night. It rained earlier in the day, but there was no other weird weather. I know how this sounds, but this really happened and freaked the hell out of me. I'm naturally a pretty tough guy, but this made me call my wife while shaking like a leaf, ready to cry because it really freaked me out that bad. Tonight, I was on my way home from my friends. About 10 minutes into my drive, I noticed I was being followed, literally all the way home, more than 10 miles from the time I noticed this dark cloud thing. I was on the freeway going 60 miles an hour when I noticed it. It never missed a beat, literally kept exact pace with me for 10 miles. Literally, the only way I can describe the thing is as small thundercloud, pitch black, but somewhat able to see through. It was about 5 feet high and I guess about 25 to 30 feet long. I was the only car on the road, and out of the corner of my eye, in the right hand lane next to me, was this cloud. A cloud is the best way I can describe it. It was very dark and formless, kind of translucent. I could barely see through it, but it was transparent enough for me to not 100% be sure it was there. It really freaked me out, so I called my wife and then I decided to change lanes into it to see if it would disappear, and it did. I thought so anyway. About 30 seconds after I lost sight of it, it instantaneously reappeared right outside of my driver's side window. It was a little bit taller than my car and was about 3 times as long. When I took the exit to get off home, it disappeared again and I thought I lost it. Less than a minute later, it reappeared outside of my passenger side window. God damn it. It was almost as if it would just float over my car from one side to the other while keeping pace with me the entire time until I turned into my driveway, where it disappeared again. My driveway is about a half a mile long, shared with 5 other houses. The house right before mine has a dog that always runs up and jumps onto the chain link fence and barks like clockwork. But as I drove by it tonight, the dog ran toward the fence, stopped dead in its tracks about 15 feet from the fence, and did not make a sound. This has never happened before. Seriously, this dog never misses a chance to bark at us. My wife was waiting in the front yard for me when I pulled up, but because of the darkness of the driveway and lack of lights, she said she couldn't see anything. Update: the 22nd of December, 2021, 3:30 a.m. My wife and I couldn't sleep at all. Neither of us had ever experienced anything even close to what happened a few hours before. My older brother is our roommate, and he came home from work a little after 3 a.m. When he came into the door, he immediately noticed something was up with us. So I told him the entire experience. I checked the outside of our car for weird markings or some sort of substance or fluid that wasn't supposed to be there. We spent 10 minutes looking over the car and didn't see a thing. We were about to head inside, and my brother was talking about ways to get rid of demons. He has no idea what he's talking about, but he thinks he does. This is where shit got really messed up. My brother stopped talking mid-sentence and said, "Did you feel that?" He was talking about the extremely cold spot that just settled in on us. Then immediately something hit me hard in the rib cage and threw me right into my brother. I just about shit my pants, no joke. I straight up said F this and ran as fast as I could into the house. When I got inside, I was shaking like a chihuahua and crying like a baby. I told my wife, and she looked at the area where the punch had happened, and I had a huge red spot that was starting to appear and a bruise on my rib cage where it happened. My brother came inside a few seconds later, absolutely awestruck. I am beyond scared and do not know what this was or what to think of it. So what do you think of that one? That one's weird. Demon? No, demon. I think demon, not a cloud man. Definitely not a man. Probably some sort of demon. Yeah. Or phantom. Yeah. Shadow, negative energy. Yup. What's up, Kimberly? An unclean spirit. Yes. I just thought it was so unusual. You know what I mean? Because, like, you never hear about stuff like that. That is just an absurdly strange paranormal. Yeah, Aramik. I agree. He must have done something to invite it into his life, or his brother, or his brother. I gotta blow my nose. Hang on. Sorry. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back. Sorry about that. Or his brother. Yeah, exactly. Some sort, because you think about what he said. My brother has no idea what he's talking about, right? But yet he's talking about how to get rid of demons. Joseph Cannon, thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. So his brother probably did something messed up. He was at his friend's house before it happened. I don't know why people don't listen. I know people listen to these experiences. Just kidding. All right. This one goes out to all those people in the UK, to all my UK folks. I know this happened a while ago, but I have never forgotten about it. Even now, I am confident about what happened and what I saw. About 45 years ago, around 1971, I was with my then girlfriend and we were parked in a forestry road at the junction of Langdykes Brae and Porter's Brae on the road to the cults. The area is heavily wooded and is used by the forestry. Now, this junction we were parked up in is about 1.5 miles from Kennaway in Fife, Scotland. I was parked about 300 yards up the Torlusk Forest Road, and the trees to the left of me had been cut down for about 50 yards, and the floor was cleared up to the tree line and stacked up at the side of the forest road. There was a full moon, and you could see right across the clearing to the standing trees. My then girlfriend said she saw something moving in the clearance, to which I said it would be no doubt a fox or a deer. After a while, I fell asleep in the car seat until my girlfriend shook me awake and said there was something moving behind the stacked trees next to our car, much closer than before, and it had been moving around us for a while now. I wound my window down and banged on the door, but the creature, or whatever it was unfazed. It never moved. I then jumped into the driver's seat and reversed the car so the headlights shone in the direction of this creature. To my shock and amazement, this creature stood up straight, and only for a second or two, I could see it clearly. This thing stood 8 feet in height and had whitish gray chest and face. The rest of its body was jet black. It looked at us one last time and then took off in the direction of the forest and vanished out of sight. We were both confused, and we just sat there trying to think of what it could be. And then it came back. This thing started throwing sticks and rocks at our car, and these weren't little sticks or rocks. We could hear them hitting the car. Then we heard crashing going through the line of young trees. We just drove out of there, and my girlfriend didn't want to return. So I went back the next day with my brother. We went and looked for tracks or signs, but it had been raining and we found nothing. I later asked a guy who I know that works there all his life in these forests if he knew anything about what we had seen, but he had never come across anything like it. Well, I do believe Scottish people do use miles and yards too, giant grasses. I mean, I interviewed a lady that was from Scotland and she used miles and yards. I just read it. You had a Dogman experience, your dad? Send me an email. I mean, it's nothing new to me that Ohio has Dogman experiences. I've been researching for 30 years. Charles Widmore, really? I didn't know that. Definitely in Virginia, 100%. No, I haven't, MJ. I'll look into it. Dumb snake, that's scary. That is scary. Dude, I'm not going back. I've read it. Most people in the comments have read it. Northeast Ohio guy. Send me an email, get in touch with me. I'm leaving Covington. Yeah, I'm going up tomorrow. Hopefully, they say that it's 40 right now. Wait, what did that just say? Rain and snow is starting tomorrow morning in upstate New York, supposedly. So it'll be a good time to go up to where Tom Mezek disappeared tomorrow. I'll save the longest one for the last one for the night because it's a whole bunch of strange experiences. This one's really good too. Here we go. All right. I was a kid when I first moved into the house on the edge of the forests. My parents had their doubts about buying this house with a backyard that bordered the forest. They had concerns about wild animals getting into our bins or hurting our dogs. And were worried one of us might go too far into the trees and get lost. But it was cheap. My dad liked the seclusion. My mom loved the house itself, and my siblings and I were excited about playing in the backyard and exploring the forest. Our first sign that something wasn't right was that our dogs were absolutely terrified of the forest. They never went into the forest for any reason. If a toy they had been playing with was found its way past the tree line, they refused to retrieve it. And when one of us went in to get it, they would pace anxiously until we returned. On occasion, we'd notice the dogs staring at a spot in the forest in obvious distress, sometimes growling or barking, but we could never see anything there. My brother once carried one of the dogs into the trees to show her that there was nothing scary about it. She wriggled out of his grip and sprinted to the house in panic. If we were in the backyard when it was getting dark, we sometimes heard noises like someone or something was walking through the forest, sticks crunching underfoot, branches being pushed aside. If we called out, there was no response. But if we shined a flashlight around, we would occasionally catch a glimpse for just a split second of something that we could swear looked like a person walking in the dark. My parents quickly banned us from entering the forest at all after dark. And even during the day, we weren't allowed to go out of sight of the house. My sister's bedroom window looked out into the backyard and the forest beyond, and she remembers looking out her window one night and seeing a shadowy figure standing right at the edge of the backyard. She says there was something wrong with it, like it wasn't quite standing on the ground. It was little too tall to be a person, and it was sort of distorted. And she was convinced that it was staring at her. She called our dad, saying there was a guy in the backyard staring up at her window. And when he ran outside to chase off whoever it was, she continued to watch the figure. It didn't move away, but when the light from my dad's flashlight passed over it, it suddenly wasn't there anymore. We regularly heard knocking at the back door at night with no one being there. Our parents thought it was teenagers playing pranks and stopped bothering even opening the door until one rainy night when the knocking was persistent and agitating. My mom pointed out there might be someone needing shelter from the heavy rain outside. But when she opened the door, not only was no one there, but there were no wet footprints either on the porch. The knocking continued the whole time we lived there. It would happen several times in the span of a few weeks, then stop for months, then start up again. My parents eventually installed security cameras, and there was never anyone at that door. The camera wasn't all useless though. About 3 years into living there, my brother started having night terrors and sleepwalking. When he went sleepwalking, he would always go out the back door and start walking toward the forest. My mom, being a light sleeper, would hear the door open and would run out and get him before he made it to the tree line. After the third or fourth time this happened, my brother asked to see the camera footage because he wanted to see how he looked when sleepwalking. I guess thinking it'd look funny. The footage showed him walking out onto the porch, then pausing as if listening to something and shaking his head, then reluctantly walking forward as if being pulled or forcefully guided by something. One evening, my dad was in the backyard and he heard my sister calling him from the forest, seemingly in distress. Thinking she had gone exploring in the forest and fallen over and gotten hurt, he ran in and started calling for her, but quickly realized it was too dark to see her and could not pinpoint where her voice was coming from. He told her to wait there where she was while he grabbed a flashlight. When he ran back into the house to get the flashlight, he saw my sister inside, safe and completely unconcerned. At the time, my dad hadn't told us about hearing her voice in the forest. So when I heard my mom's voice coming from the forest months later, while I was outside with the dogs one evening, I didn't question it despite the fact I had seen my mom inside recently, hadn't noticed her walk past me. My mom was calling me saying she had gotten her sweater caught on some branches and needed my help. As I walked in, the dog started barking, alerting my dad, who saw me through the window wandering in the forest. He came outside and called me, and I said I had to go help mom. He yelled back that mom was in the house, and I needed to run back to the house as fast as I could, which I did. After this, my parents had built a fence around the backyard and started looking for a new house. In the time between the fence being built and us moving out, it got way worse. We'd hear knocking at the door more regularly, as well as tapping on the windows as if someone was walking the perimeter of the house and tapping every window. We would often hear scratching and scraping sounds on the fence and voices beyond it. My brother's night terrors got more frequent, and one night my mom didn't hear the door open, and he went sleepwalking and he woke up standing at the fence staring into the forest with the dogs barking. The last morning we spent there, less than 4 years after we moved in, we woke up to find the back door fully open. Security camera footage showed it slowly swinging open on its own. Since moving out, my brother's sleepwalking has stopped, though he still gets night terrors and still suffers severe anxiety. A few nights ago, he called me out of the blue, and after a bit of small talk, he asked me if I think the door being open that final night meant whatever was out there finally got in. He was trying to make light of it, saying he was getting into spirit of Halloween, joking about how maybe we should all get exercise just in case something latched onto us all those years ago. But I think it really deeply bothered him by everything that happened. I still get nervous around dark wooded areas. I don't know what to think was out there in the forest behind our house, but I get the feeling sometimes, given the chance, that it would have swallowed us whole if it wanted us to, if it wanted it to. Yeah, three mom, three cat mom. Definitely trust your mom or your animals 100%. What's up, Vang? How are you, buddy? Wesley, how are you? That reminds me of the experience that that family from around the LBL area, actually Lake Pickwick, and he had moved his family there to a house. He had a gun range down the hill, and his wife would hear babies crying in the woods. His kids would hear kittens or puppies crying in the woods, like something was trying to get his family into the woods. Vang, it's always nice seeing you. I'm glad you're here with us, my friend. Steph, what's up? Steph the contractor. Aramek, thank you for the love, brother. I got one for you, baby. I got one for you. Tommy, how are you, Tommy? I miss saying hi to you. I'm sorry. What's up, Mab Investigates? How are you tonight? All right, this one goes out to Aramek and his lack of Mothman believing. I live in northern Cali in a smallish town outside of Sacramento. This event happened sometime in the winter of 2015. I don't remember the exact date. I just remember it was cold. Anyway, I was over at a friend's house who was throwing a small kickback that day, and I was helping prepare. Two of my other friends caught a ride on the way to the party, but they needed a ride back after, and I told them I was the D&D tonight and told them not to worry, get as drunk as they wanted, but I'd give them a ride home. Fast forward toward the end of the night. It was around 12, 1 in the morning. Let me just clarify that I was not tired, nor was I inebriated. Once again, D&D. We just got done partying and whatnot, so I was still very awake. My friends wanted to go home, so I went and started the car. And at the time, I had a girlfriend, so she was sitting in the front seat, and my two friends were sitting in the back. We hit the road and started driving. I decided I was going to take some back roads that led to the freeway. My friends lived in a town away up the hill. The whole time we were on the road, we did not see another car, which was a bit strange as there's usually at least a couple on the road from people working night shift and whatnot. I didn't think much of it. We reached a stoplight that leads down the main street through my town that would take us to the freeway. On this road, there is an airport for small planes, and then there is a convenience store. Other than that, it's just trees and some houses here and there. I was driving down the relatively straight road, so I could see fairly long distance in front of me. As I came over this little hump in the road, I could see there was something in the middle of the road about a quarter of a mile away. The object was a pretty good size. From a distance, it looked like a gray tarp or a large black plastic bag laying in the road. I just thought maybe someone had lost it hauling something on their trailer or such. But there was room on the shoulder for me to go around it, so I wasn't too worried. At this time, I was approaching the object, which was on my side of the car. I'm going 25, being cautious. I was about 15 or 20 feet away from this thing, about to pass it. And that's when the most unexplainable thing happened. This thing that I thought was an inanimate object gets up. I mean, it got up quickly. From what I could see, it was standing 8 to 9 feet in height. It then spread its wings, which was at least 15 to 20 feet wingspan. It then flew over the hood of my car. I'm talking really 2 feet above. I could see the bottom of this thing clear as day. Its head then turns to me as it's about to fly out of my line of sight, and what I saw still haunts me. This thing made direct eye contact with me, and it had a human-like face. It had bright red eyes with a small beakish sort of mouth, almost like an owl or a moth. That's when my brain realized what happened, and my first instinct was to slam on my brakes. We came to a halting stop, and I was looking through my rear window trying to find this thing. My girlfriend and both of my friends in the back started yelling, telling me to frantically haul ass out of there. My girlfriend and my friends are yelling. What was that? To this day, we still don't know what we saw. I'm not sure if this would be considered a glitch, a Mothman. I asked my girlfriend and both my friends what it looked like, and they described exactly what I saw. We did not sleep well that night. You don't have to believe this, as most people don't, but I know what happened. I just figured I'd share. Liz, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Northeast Ohio guy. I will upload it, or I will record it this Monday or something like that. I will reach out to you and let you know that I got it. Okay, buddy? Thank you for sending it. Maybe we'll do an interview sometime if that's cool with you, if that's something that you're into. I'm glad that you're here with us, Liz. Once again, hang on, I got to check something. Let me make sure I got it. I want to check make sure I got his email. Hang on. I hate when fall kicks in. Northeast. DA? Is that your? Yep, it is you. I got your email, brother. I got your email. Awesome. And I will narrate it sometime in the beginning of this week, buddy. I promise. All right. Once again, today's live stream is dedicated to I don't know if you guys knew him, but he was in the he was a member of this channel. He was a member of a lot of Facebook cryptid communities and stuff. Tom Cardis. I don't know if you guys know him, but he passed away yesterday in a tragic motorcycle accident. He left behind a wife. So my dad is doing great. Doing great. You missed a story about him, actually, Liz. I went to cut a branch down yesterday, and he had me working 3 hours cutting 3 trees down and yelling at sticks, calling them filthy names. Widmore, Cardis. Tom Cardis. Yeah, it's crazy. He was a decent guy. He was in the chat before. You're right, RH. Really nice guy. Thor, thank you. Did I get your email? Did you just send it? Because if I didn't respond to you, meaning like, hey, I got your email, I didn't get it. Chances are. What was that in the background? Bobby Schultz. What do you mean? What background? My wall? Who was talking behind? No one's in my house. Bobby, no one's here. You're freaking me out, Bobby. What the fuck? What's up, David? How are you, buddy? Is there a lot of Dogman stories in Virginia? Yes, Dubsnake. Many. Heath, you like that one? My wall? Fucking Bobby's gonna be like, I see dead people behind you. I'm gonna fucking shit my pants on the live. No! Arabic! Thank you so much. Brenda Steen, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm serious. It sounded like, fuck that. Bobby, my daughter isn't even here tonight. Don't do that to me. I'm getting cold chills, dude. Cold chills. Arabic, you are a legend. Arabic's the man, the myth, the fucking legend. Aramik, thank you for being the real one. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Yeah. Bobby, actually, you're right. 59th. My cat at the beginning of this live stream was having a shit fit running around the living room. And now you're hearing people in my fucking house. Jesus. Jesus. I only got listing. I set my live stream up with what I do for the live Northeast. The best Dogman story I have, I don't have the best one. They're all research to me, to be honest with you. I don't do this for entertainment for myself, like other like creepy pasta channels or shit like that. I genuinely like the research out of it. The only one that I truly believe it is true is mine, because it's the only one that I have. I believe people's stories. So I believe people's experiences. I take people at their word until they fucking lie about something. But the only experience I can 100% say happened without a shadow of a doubt is my own. And ever since then, I've been a believer since 1994. So, I mean, I've heard some crazy ones. I've heard some sad ones. I always bring my Caltech with me, Aramik. I'll show you what I bring with me. Hang on. I'm coming. When I go up to where Tom Mesick, Rockin' Steady, thank you so much. Ha, you know it, buddy. Oh, did you see my hair? Dude, my hair just went like that. Ah, no. When I go up to where Tom Mesick disappeared, I bring this with me for my protection. This is my protection I bring with me. So I do bring that with me. Just because you guys don't see it on the camera, don't mean I don't have it with me. I don't feel like people, like I don't like those channels that look at what I'm bringing with me. That's not why you're there to see the video. It's with me. That's all that matters, right? I hate those like guys that got to compensate for their little wieners. I'm out here with my 1911 10 millimeter. It'll hold 7 3-inch 12 gauge slugs, or if I use the little fellers, like 11. What's my Dogman story? I'll share that at the end of the upload, because everyone here, or at the end of the live, because everyone's heard mine. So I'll share it right at the end, okay? What's up? What do you foxing family? I would love to have a 416 Rigby. Holy shit. Sovereign Cosmic Wild Man. Whoops. How about a black-eyed kid story? Black-eyed kid story for you all. Shannon Brown. There are many in Oklahoma. There was a little old lady that got savagely torn apart about 2 years ago in her backyard. And I had researched the experience, and it was fucking tragic. All right, here we go. This happened a couple of years ago. My husband and I were up late worrying about our dog. She was puking red, and we thought she wasn't feeling well. Turns out she had jumped on the dining room table and ate some of my roses I had in a vase. She ended up being fine, but my husband and I were worried and hadn't realized she ate the roses yet. So we decided to go to the vet. It was around 10 or 11 p.m. When we step outside of the door, we look to our left at the cul-de-sac that's next to the neighborhood. It's an empty road except for one house an old man and his dog live in, and a CrossFit gym. In the middle of the cul-de-sac, there's this little girl, maybe 4 or 5, riding an old metal tricycle in the circle. The tricycle is making this constant squeak sound, so that it's pretty creepy in of itself. There was something off about it. The way she was riding the tricycle just didn't seem right. My husband and I both remember her being under some kind of light, but there is no street light where she was. I felt creeped out, but more confused and worried than anything. My husband pulled me away and said, "We gotta go." He was pretty freaked out by this kid. I didn't really get a good look at her eyes. When my husband pulled me away, the squeaking stopped, and I thought I heard her say, "Mommy?" I don't remember well. Everything happened so fast, but I think I glanced back after she stopped pedaling as my husband was pulling me away. And there was something weird about her face. I vaguely recall her eyes being jet black. That's about all I got from her face. I just learned about black-eyed kids recently. I had this really strange experience last year, and my brother just told me about black-eyed kids, and I feel like that's what I saw. So last year during Christmas time, my sister and I were having a hard emotional night, and we decided to go around to look at Christmas lights. I was driving, and we were just crying, talking, and looking at the decorations. There was a meteor shower that night, and we ended up on this super creepy back road with nothing around. No houses or buildings, no streetlights, just woods. Somehow we both saw a meteor fall out of the sky as I was driving, and we both screamed in shock and excitement. As we looked back down onto the road, there was a small child on the side of the road. It had a backpack, and it was staring at my car with this insanely scary grimace on its face, with huge black sunken eyes. It didn't move its body, but its head was moving with the car as we drove past. It freaked the hell out of me. We screamed and cried, just out of utter shock. What the hell was that? It filled us with such terror, and we were both so distraught and upset. We couldn't stop shaking or crying, and we couldn't rid ourselves of that horrible feeling. I felt guilty for not stopping if it was someone in need of help, but it was in the middle of winter, late at night. Nothing was around that road, and there was no reason for some little kid to be out there. And they weren't trying to flag us down or anything. We just called the cops, went home, couldn't sleep that night. I still have PTSD when I drive at night. I drew a picture when I got home so I'd never forget what it looked like. I was in the Peace Corps volunteer in Nepal. I lived in a small remote village. One night I woke up and I heard something at my door. I got up, cracked the door. I saw nothing there. I thought perhaps it was a deer or porcupine. There's a big difference. Deer or porcupine. The fuck? Anyway, but there was nothing. I closed the door, turned around, got back into bed. The second I turned around, I saw a child. Black outline, white face, black hair, deep sunken in, black eyes. I lied there stunned. I quickly pulled the covers over my face. The moment I did that, I woke up. It was a dream. That same night sequence in the dream was reality. It was so freaky, so real. I remember the boy's outline and eyes. A week or so later, my host family unexpectedly passed, or my host father unexpectedly passed away. It was devastating to his family and the entire community. For a long time, I thought about this dream as a bad omen. At times, I try to think that it wasn't related at all. It was a real weird timing, and it still scares me. Well, I think there's an issue of him dreaming about little kids, don't you? Like, dude, what's wrong? First, a deer or a porcupine, like two of the most obscure, like I could a raccoon or a porcupine, not a fucking deer and a porcupine, dipshit. Sounds a little fishy, and then he's dreaming about kids. What's up, MJ? Not not you, MJ Richards. I meant Michael Jackson. Two-way. No, that's a great question. Do you believe that Sasquatch can sound like people? Um, my own opinion, I think it's something else. I don't think it's Sasquatch. I think it's something else that's out there. Yeah, Faith Patriot. Yeah, absolutely. I just meant a deer or a porcupine. Two opposite, like, why would he think it was a deer or a porcupine? I know fawns appear on people's porches. My dad had a freaking deer on his porch like last summer. It was eating my mom's freaking plants and shit on the porch. Small deer, large porcupine. Something. Okie girl, how are you? Is it time? Is it time for the Jewhorn Kenny G to begin? $20 is a $20. Ah. Trying to do easy. Easy is definitely not easy to do. I'm like, I know it sounds funny, but I just can't. And then it went, buh, 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 buh. Yeah, two-way. I mean, Victor said that werewolves speak, um, but not Dogman, not Bigfoot. I think there's something completely different out in the woods, like in a portal. I think shit comes out of portals that mimic humans to get them to come into portals. And that's something that I was thinking about the other day when I was thinking about Tom Mezek's disappearance. Victoria Victor, like what people call the rake, but the rake is a creepy pasta named for them. They're pale white ghouls. What a ghoul is. Um, but that makes sense. So like if Tom Mezek was sitting there with his rifle on his chest, he's got his walkie-talkie, he's geared up, but he hears a familiar voice, like his brother or something, calling him. And then he walked into the portal. I don't know. You made my cat growl. I finished the book, Mighty Thor. You're going to have to wait for it to come out. Mysterious Ryan. What's up, buddy? Faith, yes. But I think that makes more sense to me than, with these fucking people saying it was a skinwalker in the middle of Georgia woods calling me when skinwalker is the Navajo name. So they should just say shapeshifter like normal. Um, but that makes more sense that a portal would open and mimic something. I don't know how they would know what someone's wife would sound like. But if they're watching that person through an alternate dimension, they might be able to hear everything that goes on in their lives, not just in the woods where they are. I don't know. Maybe. When did crawlers show up? They've been here for a very long time. Um, Probably longer or not longer. I mean, Europeans have wrote about ghouls that resemble what we call crawlers in America for thousands of years. Yeah, I talked to Shannon. I talked to Josh about it actually. You're definitely new to the channel, aren't you, Northeast Ohio guy? If I went as a black-eyed senior citizen, a black-eyed senior citizen, fucking George Coker. God bless you. It's a physical book. It's going to be physical, Lisa. Andy Davis, what are you thinking about right now? Let me think. Why your feet stink? Men in Black? 100% government people, but not people. Like, probably a creation with the alien agenda. I don't know. I tried to talk to Laura Eisenhower about what she thought Men in Black were, and she kind of like avoided the subject. But I think more or less they are not human. I don't think they're human. I think they are like a creation of or a clone of a human being for the aliens. Dude, I've done videos about the Frogman of Ohio, Northeast Ohio guy. I've done videos about that. Yes. That's why I just said you're definitely new. You're spitting stuff that's been talked about a lot here. There's going to be a really good Bigfoot convention in Ohio next year. Where the fuck is it? I'm going to it actually. I'm going down to I don't get people on my live stream, Northeast Ohio guy. Sorry. Who is Laura Eisenhower? She's the granddaughter of President Eisenhower. Nicola, I will let you know. I got to talk to Shackleneck. He's going to come down and we're going to drive down together and go to it. I do too, George Coker. I do too. I don't know where Shackle Neck is. He emailed me, or he didn't email me, he texted me earlier. I'm a liar, Andy Davis. Jesus Christ, Andy Davis. You know what? It's been time. Lot Lizard story. Lot Lizard story. This is a fictional story. The only fictional stories you will hear here are Lot Lizard stories. It was a typical night at the Jackrabbit Junction truck stop, a haven for weary truckers and wayward souls driving along the desolate stretch of Route 66. Neon lights flickering like fireflies, casting eerie shadows on a few tired big rigs parked haphazardly around the diner. The scent of greasy spoon fare wafted through the air, mixing with a faint aroma of diesel fuel in the unmistakable odor of depression. In the far corner booth, sitting atop of a mountain of half-eaten fries, was a not-so-typical sight. A reptilian cryptid named Tilly, clad in a sparkling red mini dress that hugged her scaly form just right. Her green skin shimmered under the fluorescent lights, and her tail swayed behind her, the tip curling with a playful air. Tilly had one goal that night: to scare and seduce the brave and possibly the foolish trucker passing through. Tilly had a reputation. Whispers of a hot lot lizard lady often circulated amongst the truckers, igniting a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Some claimed she would flash an eerie grin, revealing rows of sharp teeth, while others swore she could charm anyone into submission with her sultry reptilian allure. The truth is even stranger. Tilly loved the adrenaline of both scaring and seducing these men. It was a game, really, one she played with a finesse. As the clock struck midnight, the diner was buzzing with a mixture of laughter, trucker bravado, and clinking of coffee cups. That's when Billy Beast Thompson, a burly trucker known for his legendary tales, swaggered in. He wore a trucker cap that might have been older than he was, and his eyes sparkled with the kind of mischief only a man who spent too many hours on the road could muster. "Hey, boys," Billy boomed at his fellow truckers. "Anyone seen that freaky lot lizard lady? I hear she's a looker." His friends rolled their eyes, telling him to quit it with the ghost stories. Little did they know that just a few feet away, Tilly was suddenly very interested. She could smell his bravado from a mile away. With a flick of her tail and a wink of her reptilian eye, Tilly decided it was showtime. She slithered from behind her booth, sauntering toward Billy with all confidence of a showgirl on stage. The lights dimmed slightly, and she flickered them back on with her impressive and somewhat sinister charm. "Looking for something scaly?" she whispered in a silky yet sharp voice. Billy's jaw dropped, unable to decide whether he was terrified or intrigued. Are you real?" "Real enough to eat you alive," Tilly replied, bearing her sharp teeth in a grin that was equal parts inviting and menacing. The other truckers watched in awe as her presence captivated the room. As Tilly began to dance, very reminiscent of a classic cabaret number, but with a decidedly reptilian twist, she could see the mix of fear and desire in Billy's eyes. "Come on, big guy, let's have some fun." She beckoned him closer, swaying her hips in a way that was distinctly hypnotic. "I don't know, lady," Billy stammered, taking a little step back. You got fangs and shit." "Fangs are just a suggestion," Tilly purred. With a flick of her tail, she went to a seductive to downright intimidating, shadowing his face and illumining over the table. "But don't you want to know what's beneath the scales?" The other truckers were in rapt attention, poking their heads over their plates. Billy, caught between fright and folly, finally took a deep breath and closed the distance between them. "All right, let's see what you got." Just as he leaned in, Tilly roared, a deep guttural sound that made the windows rattle and sent cups flying off the table. The truck stop erupted into chaos as truckers scrambled over their booths, forgetting their food and sloshing coffee everywhere. Tilly burst into laughter, her scales glimmering in pandemonium. Gotcha, she shouted, her laughter echoing through the room. Then, in an instant, she transformed her fierce demeanor back into something playful and alluring. But seriously, Billy, how about I give you a wild night to remember? Half the truckers still frozen in place, eyes wide, while the other half were scrambling toward the door, believing Tilly was a walking nightmare. But not Billy. He was entranced, mouth agape, as he gazed at her. With a sly smirk, Tilly draped herself over the table, nudging a pile of fries off to the edge. Or maybe we could just take a little ride and explore a dark alley or two. Am I dreaming? Billy asked, his bravado returned, fueled by a cocktail of hormones and adrenaline. Close enough, Tilly smirked, but let's make sure it's not a nightmare you'll never wake up from. The truck stop is now filled with truckers' frantic yells, half amused, half horrified. Tilly, however, was having a time of her life. She scared him, charmed him, sent him back onto the road with a juicy tale to tell. Who knew a reptilian cryptid could turn a simple truck stop into a horror show of bewilderment and laughter? As Billy took her hand, they stepped into the night. Little did he know every trucker would speak about the legendary lot lizard lady of Jackrabbit Junction for years to come. A story that would blend horror and hilarity in equal measure, leaving them all wondered if it had been real or just a fever dream of too many greasy fries. Good night, MJ. What's up, Nomerk? Rando, I got you. I want to hear Billy Corgan's story myself. He only gave brief clippets of Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan only gave like little kind of snippets of what happened. I want to interview him. He's like one of my third favorite singers, probably, though. All right. What do you think, Dogman, is natural or government experiment? 100% natural. They were here before the government. Northeast Ohio guy. Our live stream, I do lot lizard stories, which are funny and fictional. That's what it was. That's why I said this is a fictional story before I read it. I should be able to reach out to him, Andy Davis. You're right. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? I mean, I love wrestling and I love Billy Corgan. Oh, I made a joke a long time ago, Northeast Ohio guy, about lot lizards being the scariest cryptid on earth. And it's just stuck with the channel. It's just been something funny we do. They are real. They got that disease though. They'll bite you. They'll bite you and give you the old freaking the ick. What's up, Darren K? How are you? Adam Condon, have a good night. Thank you for joining us, bud. Appreciate it. Damn it, my fucking. I know why my. It's from the heat turning on. The ick on your. You know it. I've heard of lot lizards, the occasional lot lizard, sometimes implanting like a lot lizard egg in a trucker's butt sometimes and some bad stuff happens. Bobby, I read what people were saying about your dad. I apologize, and I'm sorry that you lost your dad. I know, well, I mean, my dad was on palliative care for a while, so I know what you're kind of going through. I really do feel bad for you. I'm in the Adirondacks, Northeast Ohio guy. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn. Well, because lot lizards like the bot, just like aliens. No, two-way, not yet. I'll let everyone know. Dude, I gotta tell you this. This is hilarious. So, this guy at Starbucks the other day, he had one of those beards like with a ponytail, and he had those steel balls, right? And that were like attached to it. And he was new. He was new at Starbucks, and I'm addicted to Starbucks coffee. Like I'm fucking addicted. And so I go there, and the guy who usually waits on me, I looked over at the guy, and I'm like, "Who's the new guy?" And he's like, "Ah, da da da." And I'm like, I go, "Are those butt beads on his fucking beard?" And he just started laughing. I'm like, because he pops them in when he's. um, I like I love their new apple apple macchiato. The not whole milk. I use whole milk instead of oat milk. Um, or I just get a triple shot of espresso. Girth, Girth Brooks, be good, my friend. Apple Jacks Pop Tarts are the greatest. Dude, he pops those things in. He's like, as he's, never mind. This is going places we don't need it to go. All right, so this will be the last experience of the night. And then I think if the guy is still here that wanted to hear my experience, I'll share it after I share this. Okay, so the basic thing with the guy with the butt beads in his beard is if he's going down on his girlfriend, I said, I wonder if he pops those in her butt. That's where it was going. I just, I don't know why my head thought that, but I'm looking at his beard and I'm like, I wonder if he goes down on his girlfriend and he puts those in her butt. And I said this to the guy who always waits on me at Starbucks, and he fucking burst out laughing. And I got a free coffee out of the deal. I know, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. All right. So I'm going to share this and then my experience, and then we'll call it a night. There are unknown beasts not to be trifled with. They are terrifying and dangerous, but I am not positive that our encounter was something like a skinwalker or something much worse or dangerous. This incident happened in South Central Oklahoma in the Chickasaw Nation a few years back. I was working for this construction crew, and we had been hired to do some work on this cabin for a rich guy he wanted renovated. Simple enough work in that it was just some new inner walls with new insulation, a new roof, and some solar panels for off-grid power. Other than being in the middle of literally nowhere, it was not difficult work. It was 2 weeks' work with solid pay, so it wasn't much of an issue for us. That came on the third day of work. One of the guys on our crew, Jay, was already there. That was odd on its own sense. He was always late. But what made it even odder was the way he was acting throughout the day. He just woke up and disappeared around lunchtime. Again, that in itself was odd since he normally worked through lunch, so we didn't expect him just to disappear. Me and another one of the crew B went off to find him while the rest got back to work. We went to the trucks but couldn't find him, and we were about to make our way back to the shed when B pointed something out. There was a trail of blood leading from the trucks into the forest. Obviously, we thought something happened to him, so we followed the trail. It didn't take long for us to find out what happened to him. We found his body. From what looked like it, from the looks of it, it looked like he had been there all night. B almost threw up by the smell. I just about to tell him to run back and get the others when I heard Jay call out to us. But he was lying there dead in front of us. Then B screamed, and then I saw why. Standing in front of us was a twisted version of Jay. It didn't look right or natural. It had his face, but it was pasty and flaking off. There were horns on his head or its head, and it had an open smile showing fangs rather than normal human teeth. It was horrifying. It just stood there, staring, drooling. Neither of us scare easy, but both B and I started running back towards the other guys. In 15 minutes, we returned with the rest of the crew, carrying a few guns we kept in our truck. That thing was still there, eating the body of Jay. I was carrying one of the guns, as was my boss. We both fired a few rounds at it, and it didn't flinch. Then the elder in our crew said something I couldn't quite make out before firing another shot. It was hit and went down before getting up, howling and screaming at us before running away on all fours. It was still wearing Jay's face. Jay had been torn to shreds, and his death was eventually ruled as an animal attack. But to this day, I wouldn't consider whatever this thing was an animal. I later asked the elder what he said before taking the shot, but he refused to ever talk about it. We managed to complete the renovations with no more issues, but I later found out the guy who owned the cabin later went missing. I never want to see that thing again. Okay, so well, he wasn't wearing his face. He was a shapeshifter, so he morphed into. So my experience, I live in the Adirondacks for the new people, and I'm sorry guys, the old people that have heard this. Truthcast, we don't talk about that channel here. I'm gonna have to block you. I'm just kidding. All right, so 1994. I live in the foothills of the Adirondacks, and it was myself, my best friend Martin, my girlfriend, his girlfriend, and our buddy Gabe. Gabe was older than me and Martin and the girls by a year, so he could drive because in New York you can't drive after 9 if you're under 18. So we get to this during the late or mid to late 90s. There was a housing boom in upstate New York, and a lot of people were moving up from the city or Westchester up to Saratoga, Lake George, where I live. And so we had all these little cul-de-sacs were being built. And we decided that we were going to park in this cul-de-sac that was being built. My girlfriend's friend lived in the cul-de-sac before the one we were parked in. It was about a half a mile down. And so Saratoga Road or Route 9 goes straight. The cul-de-sac went in like that and off of Saratoga Road. So there was woods beyond the back of the houses. There were 6 houses roughly being built, different stages. In the middle of the U, there was the atypical 90s orange street lamp. And so you could not really see good, but you could see. And beyond the woods, behind those houses, there's mountains, the Hudson River, and more mountains. And so we're just hanging out. We're listening to the greatest New York City hardcore band ever, Biohazard. Just fucking hanging out. We weren't drinking. We weren't smoking weed. We were smoking ciggies. And all of a sudden, this freaking shriek comes out of the woods. And not as like when I say shriek, I don't mean like a lady. Like it had a lot of bass. Um, the girls yell out vampire and are in the car like that. I mean, boom, quick. Gabe's got his door open. I'm standing in the passenger side in front of the light, and I'm looking like, what the hell is that? Because I see like, I don't even know, more than 4, less than 10 pairs of eye shines, and they were whitish yellow. I'll never forget. They were like this bright white yellow color, and they were different heights. And those woods beyond the houses, the backyards of the houses, all the debris from like cutting the trees down were back there. So it would be hard to traverse. But they're coming at a pretty good clip at us. We can't see them yet because they're still in the woods. And they're making these noises like weird, just you can hear branches breaking, and you can hear like not like we didn't hear any more shrieks, but it was like almost like a panting. My friend Martin grabs my arm, and he's Czechoslovakian. So he literally, get in the car, Jeff, you bitch. Like, and I'm like, he snapped me back into reality. So we jump in the car. Gabe was driving this big fucking land yacht, this baby blue, freaking gutless, cutlass, or no, it was a Caprice Classic. It was just this big fucking car. And Gabe punches it. So we get to the main road, and we're going to head north to our houses. When we get to the main road, I'm in the passenger side. Martin's here. Gabe's here. And I look, because you know how you look when you're riding passenger, you look at the road. When we looked, standing by the stop sign, it didn't look like it belonged on this planet. Like it looked more alien than anything. It was very tall. It was as tall as the stop sign, maybe taller. It had a muzzle, but it wasn't like a wolf's muzzle. It was shorter. It had really long pointed ears. It was very athletically built, and its legs were weird. I remember thinking, how the hell does this thing move so quick with weird legs like that? I didn't notice a tail at all because of how it was facing us. And Gabe just punched it, and we went north. We ended up dropping the girls off. Gabe dropped us off. And the next day we went back, and we were looking for tracks. Me and Martin went back. And when we got there, we parked down by the stop sign, and we walked in. And we were walking along the dirt road, or the edge of the road, looking in the dirt to see if we could see any tracks. And because during this housing crunch, people were stealing wood, the guy who was the foreman of the place screamed at us, and we just said, we're looking for his dog. And he said, that's crazy, because the night before when we were packing up, we heard what sounded like a bunch of dogs in the woods. It sounded like they were fighting. And he said, that's the only time we ever heard dogs back there. So we're all like, me and Martin are like, holy shit. Years go by. We all kind of fell, broke off, and, obviously broke up with the girl. I was young. Martin and I stayed friends we're still friends, but we don't talk as often. But Gabe fell off. Gabe just said, I'm done. So I end up running into Gabe at a store. And I'm like, hey, what's up? How have you been? And he's like, oh, I'm good. Da, da, da. Like, and I said, dude, what happened to you after that night? I'm like, you blew us off. You never talked to me or Martin. You never came around. His dad was like a preacher or a pastor of a Methodist church or something like that. But he goes, I blamed you and Martin because you guys we listened to death metal. We were kids, we were just fucking idiot kids from upstate New York. We listened to hardcore, but his brain thought because we listened to like death metal and stuff that, we were satanic because he's a moron. But he said that prior to the first screech, he's sitting in his car, his door was open. So mind you, he's here. The car's facing this way. So he could see the road and both sides of the woods. And what he said was, before that first screech, I saw two of those things that we saw at the stop sign, but they were walking on all fours going into the woods behind our car. So from that period of time to the period of me getting in the car and us by the stop sign, all happened within 30 seconds. If those things didn't make that noise, and I've thought about this, why did they make the noise? But if they didn't make that noise, we probably wouldn't be here today. So I've often said, why did they make the noise? What was up with that? And the only thing that I can come to think about it is, with all the experiences that I've heard, read, and talked to about with people, is that they are opportunistic hunters and they don't hunt humans. Mainly, they like to fuck with humans and scare us. So I think that's why they made the noise and they scared the shit out of us, because they enjoy it. I don't know. So that's my experience. I'm putting my email in for you, buddy. And then, so since 1994, I have been obsessed with the paranormal, with Dogman, with all cryptids. And everything else. All right, so 59th, put my email in, and my email is right under 59th. You're welcome, Faith. You're welcome. You got me hooked. But I still think the scariest thing that I ever experienced was the Conjuring House, when me and Isabel went to the Conjuring House. If you guys watched that video, I had shared it with a friend of mine, and one of you guys in the live last week had mentioned it. That right when Belle was using the dowsing rods, when the scratching was in the walls, that there was something behind us. And I replayed the video and watched it, and there was a shadow figure behind me and Isabel that night. But when I caught the crooked neck lady on my SLS camera, dude, that is the most amazing footage that I have ever seen of that creature, or not creature, of that entity at the Conjuring House. Bobby, try to send me an email right now. While we're in the live, send me an email right now, so if I can let you know that I got it. Flash in the pan. If you type in my name in the YouTube search bar, so type in Jeff Nadolny and then type in Conjuring House, the video will come up for you. Do you guys hear that? So fucking weird. Camilla, what's going on? Camilla Paris. Thank you, Camilla. I appreciate that. Please show it. Show what, Rando? It's on a video. I don't have it to show. It's in a video. Everything in Rhode Island is cringe. Dude, what's crazy enough is the guy. So where the Conjuring house is, across the street is this hill. And well, the houses are built up on a hill, so their driveways go down. The guy that lives across the street from the Conjuring house said that he had seen a Bigfoot, but he had also seen a crawler out there too, which is freaking weird in of itself. Oh, what's up, Ryan guy? Bobby, I haven't gotten it yet. Haven't gotten it yet. Oh, thank you, Starfeather. All right, I'm checking. Ugh. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Closeted, how are you? Joel, I will. I will. Dave, I already got you set, bro. You're kind of pushing. You're like, dude, simmer down a little bit. All right. Holy cow. When I say I'll do an interview with somebody, I do it. All right. Like, chill. Bobby, I still haven't gotten anything. I do got to go pick up my daughter because my daughter just texted me. 2.5 hour live stream. Nothing yet. All right. Guys, thank you for spending 2.5 hours with me. I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I forgot to say this. So because of Stephen Quayle sharing my videos on his website, I sent him an email and I said, this is the guy that you shared a couple of my videos on your website. I really want to interview you. I'm hoping that within the next week or two, I get a reply and I can interview Stephen Quayle here. That would be like the greatest interview ever. So, but anyway, guys, thank you once more. I appreciate it. I love you all. Stay safe, stay well, and see you next Saturday. But you guys have videos all week long. So, also live stream Halloween night, 9:00, 9 to 11, Halloween night live stream. Don't forget. All right. Stay well. Love y'all.